And welcome back to another episode of Ask Luka. Today's question, we're not going to have a little bubble up here in the corner because it was actually from someone that came in to check the gym out and had some questions. And as they were in here, they saw a lot of people deadlifting. And, the question was, hey, does everyone deadlift? I can't deadlift because of some previous injuries and, which we later dug into. But the point of it is yes, because my question was, do you pick stuff up off the floor? Do you get groceries? The answer is yes, of course. We live and we deadlift in every day doing different stuff. We just don't think about it because the thought process is always if you're deadlifting, it's got to be heavy and it's got to be a certain way and whatnot. So I'm actually going to, as you can see, I got a minefield of stuff here. I'm just going to show you guys the progressions of how we'll have people deadlift or hinge, right? And remember, you can do how can you progress and regress things? Well, it can be range of motion, it can be center of gravity, it can be load, right? So I'm going to start off and actually just take the seat off and show the first way that if somebody doesn't have a good hinge pattern and has a really tough time with learning to move from the hips, we'll use the band. Right, so this will be our first progression if somebody can't hinge. And first of all, before I start, let me just say that if somebody has low back pain and it's chronic and things are going on, I mean, of course we do an assessment, but we always will refer out if like I said, if it's something that's been going on for a while, because there's a question mark on how many different things it could be, right? But we want to teach the hinge as much as possible without pain as soon as possible. So the first variation is going to be, like I said, the band, and we'll actually even teach this swing like this. So we step forward to where the band is already pulling us back somewhat, spread it apart, and from there guide. So I'll even do it from the side, but I'll do it from the front first, right? So the band is guiding me into this hinge pattern. The great thing about this is that it loads up glutes, hamstrings, and I know what I'm feeling. So it's easy to go with the client and go hey, do you feel your hamstrings? Do you feel your glutes? So if they're too high, right here, I'm feeling all hammies, right? If they're too low, they're feeling quads, but in between, I have hamstring glutes. So right now, I'm feeling both. So it's teaching a hinge. So from the side, same thing. It's pulling me back. I got a packed chin, rib cage down, and I'm feeling hamstrings and glutes, right? So remember, hinge pattern is between an RDL and a squat, right? So if an RDL is here and a squat is here, the deadlift hinge is right in between. So that would be our first progression. If somebody can do that, most people that walk in, we're gonna be able to take them to, I'll move this out the way a little bit. Right, we're gonna be able to take them to a kettlebell deadlift. Now the reason why kettlebell deadlifts are great, because look at how far in I can step, right? I can almost have the bell behind me, which automatically loads my hips up, right? It automatically creates this hinge, and the center of gravity is right below me. So there's less pressure on the back, more pressure on the glutes, hips, right where we want it, okay? Also, the bell comes up a little bit higher with the handle, easier to grab. So same thing, I'm feeling hamstrings, I'm feeling glutes, ripping up the clavicles, pop through, boom. Very rarely is there someone that can't do these. Very, very rarely. Now, if there is, and there's any type of pain, discomfort, anything like that, we'll raise the kettlebell. Remember, we're going to shorten the range of motion. We'd raise the kettlebell on board presses and blocks. So that will be number 2, right? Our third. So remember, we're going from band hip hinge to kettlebell deadlift to then trap bar deadlift. Once again, what's cool about the trap bar deadlift, if I step inside, center of gravity, I can manipulate it, right? It's not in front, right? It's more to the side. Also, handles are usually elevated, and we can flip them around, but there's less stress on the low back. The other thing, too, is people can kind of glide the knees forward, too, if you want to make it more quad dominant, right? But same thing here, rib cages down, open it up. Right, so that's our next progression. And the thing is this is something that we can get people doing very fast and load it up very heavy, or just let's say heavier, right, before Whereas with regular deadlifts, it's a lot tougher to get somebody that hasn't been deadlifting for a while to go heavier. With trap bars, it's a lot easier and safer. That's one of the main reasons too. From there, so that's our third progression, right? We've had band, we've had kettlebell, we had trap bar. Number 4, we're gonna go to a regular bar, but then we're gonna go sumo. Now, what's the difference with sumo? We're gonna stand wider, and the main thing is that we're gonna be taller. So here, when we have a big hinge, there's more shear forces on the low back. When we're taller, like a squat, right, there's more compressive forces. And the thing is, your spine handles compressive force better than it does shear. I had a really bad back injury about 5 years ago, like really, really bad. And I do much better with trap bar, sumo, than I do with a regular hinge pattern. So the next one, number 4 progression, is a sumo deadlift. And you'll see all types of different stances, right? I'm gonna go pretty wide here, toes out a little bit. And instead of hinging like this, right, I'm gonna squat into it a little bit more. We like to get the hands basically pushing into the thighs so we get that activation. Ribcage down, nice and tall. Pop through, right? So you can see the stance, and you can see how much taller I can get here, right? So that's our number 4. And once again, all of these, we can shorten the range of motion, all of them. We can put the bar on plates so that we don't have to go down as far, right? And obviously the load, we can vary it. And the last one, and you know what I'll do? I'll do a quick shot from the side as well. It'll help you see the difference in a sumo deadlift, right? We go down, pull ourselves in, a lot more upright, right? And last one would be our regular hinge pattern off the ground with a deadlift. And you'll see different variations when people sitting into it, right? So the thing is, this last variation, the regular deadlift with a barbell off the ground, takes the most mobility in the hips, right? Best form to get off the ground. And like most people just don't have that right off the bat, right? So even the regular bar deadlift, we're gonna start stacking plates under it so that we may be pulling from here or off of pins, right? So everybody deadlifts. The question just becomes, what deadlift, what hinge is appropriate for you at this point in time based on where you are and where you want to go. Because like I said, the hinge of the deadlift is such a great exercise in so many different ways for performance, for fat loss, for body recomposition and strength. And also it's very, very corrective in nature when we do it right? That not using will be crazy. Now there's very few scenarios where we may not use, and we start with just body weight, right? Where we just doing body weight hinges, because once again, look, if somebody has any type of pain and kind of I would say structural issue, right? Or just an injury that's like I said, that's flaring up, or that they never corrected, you might have somebody deadlifting all the way to the side, right? I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but if that's the pattern, then we don't want to start loading it up. We want to make sure that we have a good pattern that we can load up, that's not building, I would say, like creating issues that's going to build a threshold in an area that's then going to get hurt, right? But the answer, like this has been the longest answer, like a yes or no. Yeah, we always hinge. And the conversation with this person was like even actually taking him through a couple of progressions where his mentality was like, well, I can't deadlift because my back hurts, to where, we actually started having him deadlift and hinge with no back pain, just through coaching, just through, it was very extension based. So we got him into neutral position, good neck position, using the right muscles, bracing, ripping the bell apart, and there was no pain. So I would have you consider, like I said, everybody should deadlift, and you have a great example of how you can use these progressions and regressions with the hinge and the deadlift, and then starting to load them up. But like I said, if somebody has chronic back pain, something that can't get improved on fast, and you're not getting to move without pain, always refer out. Make sure that you get good feedback and you have a good collaboration with somebody, in physical therapy. But like I said, hey, deadlift. So remember, guys, move well, move often, move strong, move fast, right? So that's how it goes. You got to move well first. But hey, Ask Luka if you got any more questions, hashtag Ask Luka, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Peace out.